Been there
Maurice?
12 years.
All right. I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order. Everybody bow their head. We'll say a quick invocation. Dear Lord, just want to thank you for this opportunity to serve the people of Anderson, help us to make wise decisions and that are right in your eyes. We ask this in your name. Amen. Any addenda to the agenda?
No agenda tonight.
Everybody has the minutes from September 23rd. Do we have any additions or corrections? We have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
And second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. We'll go straight into the public hearings. The first one is AA 2113, a request for variances from front yard setback requirements at the corner of Midway Road and Crestview Road, the Oaks at Midway.
Very good, thank you. And just a little heads up, the two requests before you tonight are very similar, same applicant, and as you'll see as we go through this, the requests are virtually identical. So for the second request, we may not have to repeat ourselves as much, but just give you a little notice on that. But the first one we're talking about tonight is a piece of property located at the corner of Crestview Road and Midway Road. This map's kind of difficult to see, but this is Midway, Harriet Circle. Midway Elementary School is located here. This property in this general area that you see on the map, though, is a piece of property that the city annexed earlier this year in January. It's a 131-acre tract. It was brought into the city for residential development. It's to be developed in 4 different phases. But again, it's 131 acres. And this is the first phase of the development that we're discussing right now. And the applicant is requesting a variance from our front yard setback requirements in order to construct houses in this new subdivision. And specifically, the applicant's seeking relief on 4 corner lots in the subdivision. And according to our guidelines in the zoning ordinance, corner lots have 2 front yard setbacks. And what they're asking for is a variance for one of the sides so that they could just have 1 front yard setback requirement. And again, this is a 131-acre tract total. This particular piece of property, phase 1, consists of 18 acres and 60 lots. This did go before the Planning Commission a couple of months ago, and they did receive preliminary plat approval, which means that gives the developer authorization to proceed under the supervision of the city engineer with staking lots, constructing infrastructure, roads, sewer, things of that nature. So they are in progress with this property right now. If you went by there, you'll see that the land has been cleared. They're well underway with this project. But again, they're requesting variances on 4 lots, 4 corner lots, and the setback requirements in this zoning district. This is a zone PDD, Planned Development District, and basically this is a zoning classification that was placed on this property. It acts as the development standards for this property. It has everything ranging from the density requirements, including setback requirements, some design guidelines, things like that. But the zoning is PDD, Planned Development District, and according to that document, the front yard setbacks are 20 feet, the side yard setbacks are 7.5 feet, and the rear yard in the subdivision are 10 feet. But the 4 lots in question, they're shaded. You can probably see it better in your package, but there's 4 lots, 2 on either side of the entrance road into the subdivision, and there's 2 on either side of this little cul-de-sac here. Again, those are the only 4 corner lots in this development. But they request that the front of the houses on the 4 lots maintain the required front yard setback of 20 feet. That's the kind of the primary front yard, if you will, but the secondary front yard, which is the side of the house, which would apply to this side of this lot, this side of that lot, and then this side, they would like to abide by the side yard setbacks, which are 7.5 feet. So based on the setback requirements, they're essentially asking for a variance of 12.5 feet for one of the front yards on each of these 4 lots. And you can see again where these lots are located, and according to the applicant, these lots will be unbuildable without adjusting the setbacks on these lots. And remedying this without a variance would result in them eliminating several lots without having to do a complete subdivision redesign, which includes lots and infrastructure for that matter. What really happened too is they thought that when the PDD document was drawn up, that it stated that the front yard setbacks only applied to the primary front yard, and they only had one front yard setback on corner lots, but that wasn't the case. It wasn't included in that document. So that's how it got to this point. But because the subdivision is in the early stages of development, and this request really doesn't impact anybody else other than the developer at this time, because nobody obviously lives in the subdivision. That's one thing, is land is still in control of the developer. And also keep in mind that the right-of-way on one side is 13 feet. So when you add 13 feet and then the 7.5-foot setback, it'll have the look of being set back, 20, 21 feet at least from the edge of the curb. So with those factors in mind, the staff recommends approval of this. But ideally, it would be great if the applicant could go back and redesign the entire subdivision to eliminate this issue, or have a smaller house plan. But again, according to the applicant, that's really not a feasible approach. And the applicant is here tonight to address anything you have regarding that. But again, this is the first piece of tonight's request. This is for phase one. Again, phase two is coming up after we talk about this one. There are two other phases. We do request that for the last two phases, if the variances are passed for these two, that they do adhere to the setback guidelines, because they haven't drawn those up yet. So they still have time to allow those lots to have the appropriate setbacks without having to come get a variance. Any questions for me? And also the applicant is here to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions for staff?
If this request is granted, may we assume that there will be no requests in the future for variances?
We would certainly support your statement, and I would think the applicant stated they would not come back for variance requests for lots, for setbacks for lots.
Well, I'd like that entered, that there will be no more requests for variances, since they have time to plan for it.
Yes, that will be stated in the minutes by your question, and also by the applicant, Mr. Curtis's reply.
That's fine, thank you.
It looks like the two other corner lots at the cul-de-sac, yeah, it looks like those comply with the two. Mm-hmm. Is that a house plan that could go on those other lots? Those houses look more narrow? Is that a house plan that could go on those other corner lots and comply?
If you, well, hold on one second. I guess go ahead and see if you're going to get up. Are you done? Are we done asking Maurice questions? And all right, now you can go up and state your case if you like and answer.
Those boxes that are drawn in there, I mean, they're actually all the same. Box that shows kind of the house area, those are just, one plan is a different plan over there.
Okay.
But they're,
None of which would
yeah, the box just represents that every plan in their plan group would fit the box. So the correct, yeah.
Okay.
That's the box from what they call their lot.
Okay.
All right. Now I'm assuming you're the developers. Any other? Can you go ahead and just for the record state your name, and anybody else have questions?
James Curtis, and yeah, I'm one of the developers on the project.
Mr. Chairman, do we vote on this, on the two separate ones, or we just put them all, both of them together?
Vote on this one and then vote on the next. We hadn't looked at the next one yet. It just won't take long. Yeah, let's just vote on this one to begin with. Since they're two different variances, just make it easier. Any other questions? discussion amongst the board? I have a motion.
Make a motion, we approve it.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do you want to add the caveat of that there's no more variances to this plan? We'll go ahead and add that to your motion or not? Like Mr. Anderson was asking,
Wait a minute, I'm confused now.
to approve, but with the caveat that there are no more,
Yes, what Ken
variances.
said, yes,
okay, so we have a motion to approve with no more variances to this plan.
right.
Okay? All in favor say aye. Well, do we have a second for that? Second here. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Okay, that passes. Now we'll go into the second hearing, AA 2114, a request from variances from front yard setback requirements at 1406 Oak Hill Drive, the Meadows at Midway. Yes, sir. This is in Midway, the first one. Properties outlined in blue. Midway Elementary School. Pretty large. This development, two of their property that was annexed
Into the city in January, and the phase two consists of 37 acres and 107 lots. And this also went before the planning commission and received preliminary plat approval. So that's the size of this property, and the requests for the variances are on the internal part of the development. You can see them located right here. But once again, they're asking for variances of 12.5 feet from one side so that they can adhere to the side yard setbacks on one side, and then on the main front yard, it would be a 20-foot front yard setback. But again, as Mr. Anderson mentioned, I'm assuming that your statement applies to this one as well, correct? As far as no more variances for this particular piece of property, and we would certainly support that as a staff. Any questions for us?
Any other questions for staff? Any questions for developer? Discussion. Board?
I move the, variance be granted with the same,
Same caveat on
The
that.
same thing, yes.
Okay.
that we won't have any more requests for variance.
We have a motion in front of the board. Approval with the caveat of no more.
You don't want to see him ever again.
I second.
Okay, well, I hadn't finished today. A caveat, a motion before the board that we pass the motion, pass the variance with the caveat of no new variances for this development by the developer. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. All right, that passes also. Any other business?
Staff, hope you have a happy Thanksgiving.
And we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second?
Second?
All in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye, we are adjourned.